Hello, everyone. CKMS 102.7 FM, Radio Waterloo. Welcome to the Gems of Life. Wow, I am so excited. Today is our first day, first first talk show on the radio, and I couldn't be more happier. Wow. I am super excited. I am truly blessed. And this tells you that nothing is impossible. You set your mind to it and you move forward. I'm telling you, doors open, opportunities open up to you. But just prepare yourself because you just never know. Now, from our talk show from YouTube, we have moved and evolved to a radio show. Welcome to everyone who has never heard of the Gems of Life. My name is Fadhwa. I have two amazing ladies here who've been part of my journey, Jules and Nikisha. Welcome.
Hello, everyone. We're so excited to be in your space today.
Yes, and welcome to the radio. This is a whole new space. Woo!
Yes, absolutely. Have you been, ladies? Nikisha, I know you've been busy also getting ready for the show as well. How's your day been?
My day, honestly, not bad. It's been a whirlwind because I've been diagnosed finally for my chronic illness. So I've been doing like a lot of research and trying to figure out how to heal myself naturally without the heavy dose of medication the doctor just prescribed. So just dealing with that and coming to terms with that and just, and everything else, homeschooling, business. Yeah, I think I'm busier now than before the pandemic.
Wow. Are you doing okay? I know you just shared that something very personal to you. I hope you're doing well and I wish you all the best.
I've been experiencing or how would I say, I've suffered from chronic pain for years. And last January I was in like a small car accident. So then that triggers a lot of pain point. And so I haven't been, usually I'll be in pain for a period of time and then it'll go away, then a period of time. But since January 2020, I've been in pain every single day. So I've been doing like physio, chiropractor, everything. I've been doing a whole lot of tests, MRI, everything. They couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. And when I said, I have days where every day I'm in pain, there's days where it's like a 2, and there's days where I feel like it's at a 20, where I can't move, right? So I knew something was wrong with me, but the test result kept coming back. You're okay. You're okay. You're okay. So I'm like, I must be a mad woman, right? Because I'm definitely in pain. And the painkillers doesn't really work. They just relax me and let me rest better. So now they just diagnosed me with what's called fibromyalgia or something like that.
Fibromyalgia.
Yes. So when I do all the research and everything, it seemed like, yeah, that's definitely what I'm having, like from the symptoms. So trying to, now change the way I eat, diet, and probably, try to figure out how can I heal myself in a natural way instead of doing the medication route, because it is something that's not curable and it's something that I have to live with. So why not try to do it in a natural way?
Yes,
right?
yes. I like your spirit. You're trying to do the best you can to manage on a daily basis. Managing pain is not easy. It's not easy, but you're finding ways to do it on a day-to-day basis. So kudos to you.
And I have 2 companies that I run, and I work with people with disability on top of that. So,
wow.
And I work with behavioral individuals. So it's mental toughness, and I think that's what keeps me going. So on the days where I'm really like, I try not to do too much because I get very exhausted, and it's hard to believe that I'm only 43 and get so exhausted. So what I do, I just schedule minimum stuff each day and just stretch it out longer instead of trying to do a whole lot of stuff and overwhelm myself. So.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. Jules.
Yes. So the question was, how are we doing? I feel like following Nikisha, I'm like, wow, I got a lot going on too. I'm not sure how much to share because we probably don't have that much time.
We'll always make time.
I'm sure everybody feels the same way. If you were actually to get deep into like what's really going on, it's like there's a whole whack of things happening. My day so far, though, as far as how I'm doing, which is always a loaded question, I'm doing, I'm thriving in the experience that I make for myself. So I'm continuing to try to recognize that this reality that I've chosen is one that I indeed chose, and some of them consciously, some of them not consciously, but catching myself and noticing and bringing my attention to the growth and all of the things that I'm learning, and all of the shifting and differences, instead of missing the things that I used to have. So I would say that my mindset is getting lots of work. If it was a muscle, it would be like super strong because it's getting lots of exercise. But ultimately, I'm happy. My kids, I told them they had to, be quiet, and the only way for them to do that was like going outside. And so I'm watching like my son bike back and forth, and my daughter on the electric unicycle, like every once in a while in the window, if you see that. But life is good. It's it's going on, and that sense of purpose and having value in the world is there, and the insecurities come up and they're there as well, and I just am with it when I can be with it, and I'm just lucky to have the support of amazing people and family and friends, and yes, and clients are awesome.
Wow. Yes, I love that.
And it's so nice to see how we all are just adjusting, and building those muscles. It's those mental muscles, boy. They're strong.
Yes, it's actually we had to adapt. Not only adapt, we had to learn how to change and learn new things. And just even for me now, just when it's one of the biggest questions we've always are fearful of asking: how are you doing? How are you doing? Going out to the grocery store right now, just asking somebody, you have that fear. Maybe they will just bombard you with, everything that's happening. But I truly believe it's a very important, simple question. Yeah. And a lot of people are actually longing for that, just that part of social aspect of it. How are you? How are you? How are you doing? And you have to be prepared. The moment you ask that question, you have to be prepared to listen to the answer. Because sometimes you may get more than just, I'm fine. And just like I asked you that simple question, you're able to share something with me, know. And I think there's power in asking or just saying a simple, hi, how are you? How are you doing? It makes a huge difference. So I'm just going to say this. I'm throwing out there right now, since it's our first talk show. I am asking our viewers today, listening to our show, how are you doing? How have you been? Share your comments. We have a comment section there. Share with us. How are you doing? And maybe even just take that further and ask the other person next to you, how are you doing?
Yes.
It makes a huge difference. If you get a simple, I'm fine, I'm okay, that's okay too. But to be prepared to listen in to the answer. So today, I urge everyone, I invite everyone to just take that step. So here I am asking you, Fadhwa, asking you, how are you? Share your comment, how you're feeling, how you've been. This is like our icebreaker conversation. It's our icebreaker conversation, and we're just, getting to know each other. And the only way you can get to know each other even far deeper is just by a simple, how are you? And I am ready to listen in. So send in your comments. I'll be listening. I'll be reading. And I look forward to all your comments.
Yes.
Well,
yes.
For me, actually, today, I don't know if you've noticed, we just had our time change, Jules. I know you live...
I don't know if you already had
that. You're already there.
Yeah, we had our clock turned back. So we lost an hour of sleep. And I don't know about you, but for me, the past 2 days, it just felt like I just wanted to get a hold of the time. It just it was going so fast. I was like, I haven't done anything. I haven't accomplished anything. What's going on? I can't get a hold of this time. how did you feel? Like for me, it was just, I think today, since Monday morning, today is the first day that I'm thinking, okay, now I think I'm kind of getting into the, my daily ritual. I'm feeling like, okay, I'm better with time right now. I'm feeling the time far more better than I was 3 days ago, because it just felt like it was just grasping. It was just moving too fast for me, and realizing that I have not done anything. How
Mm-hmm.
about you, ladies? Jules?
Well, I mean, I live in New Brunswick, which is what Fadhwa was referring to. My family and I moved from Kitchener to New Brunswick in the end of the summer, August, so the kids could be in school in September. And so the thing that I've noticed most about the time change is that now when I go to the beach in the morning for a walk, I can catch the sun as it's coming up on the ocean, the Bay of Fundy.
Mm,
And
Mm-hmm.
so that is like, oh, look, we're back. Like we're not missing it, right? Because before, the time crept up and then we'd miss it. And so now we're not missing it again for a little while. And the kids are playing outside and it's like 6 o'clock here, right?
Yes.
So, or it's after six, maybe like 6:30 here right now. And it's great because there's more daylight. So it actually feels like things are more alive.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, I actually haven't noticed the lack of sleep, except that my son last night, who normally goes to bed at like, I swear, probably like 2 o'clock in the morning
mm,
because he likes to read, and I'm not going to stop him from reading. He's in
mhm,
high school. He's got to
Yes.
figure this out himself.
mhm,
Uh, when I went to go to bed last night, his lights were already out. And when I asked him this morning what time he went to bed, he said 10:30. And he said he
Mm.
got the best sleep ever. And I know that the reset, if we take advantage of it, can be huge when it
Yeah.
comes to a time change too.
mhm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. What
I
about
think
you?
for me, the time
Mhm,
change didn't really affect me. Like I haven't noticed it. What affected me most is the cold weather this week. Because last week I think we had some really good weather, and this week, like Monday, Tuesday, was a bit colder. And for me, because everywhere is closed, and I still work with the individuals that I work with, so it's more outdoors because there's nothing happening indoors. So the cold weather does affect me. So I'm excited about next week because it seems like it's going to be a sunnier,
mhm.
a sunnier, warmer week, right?
Yeah.
So for me, it's more the cold, and it's dark. It's darker in the morning, before the sun will be out more in the morning time, but then it's still dark. So yeah, but
Yeah.
overall, I'm just excited for the warm weather. I'm just looking forward to it because I'm an outdoor person. So with the time change, there's hope.
Yes, yes, absolutely. We just have to look at it as we have an extra day, yes, an
Mhm.
extra hour during the day to do what we need to do, right?
Yes.
Even though we are losing that 1 hour sleep, but we have
Mhm.
more to do during the day. So Nakisha, you mentioned about your work and how you have changed how you do your work. Now there's no more indoors. You have to
Mhm.
adapt to how you provide your service to your clients. And I know this is one of the areas that we all had to adapt during the pandemic. What are the challenges that you feel, especially personally, before even we move to professionally level, your personal aspect of it? How has that affected you? How has the
Okay.
pandemic actually affected you?
So that is a huge shift because okay, so as mentioned before, I do have an organization that support individual with disabilities. And usually I would support respite service, whether during the day or on weekends or evening. And my organization, what we do more community based because so that there's more interaction. So we will be at the library, the museum, wherever, everywhere, and anywhere within the city. So now with everything closed, the only place we could go is within the community where like parks, just for a walk down by the beaches. So with the colder weather, what has happened, instead of providing a 6 hour relief for parents, we're only able to do like a 2 hours or 3 hour relief for parents, which is because that's all we could do out within the cold. And then this put a lot of strain on the parents because most parents now are working from home. So they would appreciate the longer respite hours, but then they have to be juggling work and juggling their loved ones. And it's hard. It's like for us, we have children that we're juggling, and we're able to, like Jules said earlier, she was able to send her two kids outside to play and ride a bike, and she could just monitor them from a window, right? I'm able to, to tell my other two younger ones to, hey, mommy's busy right now, give me 30 minutes. However, when you have a child with disability, those are not the language that you could use. You have to like 100% be attentive at all time. So you're not able to work
Mm,
and care for your loved one at the same time. So like I'll give an example. I have a parent, she does teaching. So what we've been doing is cutting the hours. Usually we'll support our child from 9 to 3. So now we cut it down between 10 to 1. So she has an arrangement with her workplace where, she logs on at 10:30 and then she logs out by 12:30 so that, but then she get complaints and she's like, I don't know what to do. Like, I know they understand our life. However, they still have an expectation. So they're
mm,
complaining, but they're not complaining. So I see where the pressure is. So with the weather getting nicer, it will be easier for everyone because it's
mm,
very, very difficult for the individual or the child with the disability because they want a break too. They want to have fun. They want to be out and about. And the parents need that relief. So with the warmer weather, I'm excited about that because then that means I'm able to provide more for relief for the parents. However, we're still limited to what we could do, right? So we try to be creative. Like, we do
mm,
picnics, we do games, we do walk, we count whatever activity we could do outside and where it's safe.
mm.
But we're looking forward to everything open back because I love just being on an adventure every day, right? And
Mm.
now it's like, oh, we're just limited, and I really don't like the limitation.
Who does? Who does? No one likes being limited. Absolutely. But you're doing an amazing work, and just to be able to, support your
Mhm.
clients at this difficult time. So you're actually managing and doing what you need to do the best way possible, right? And finding
Yes.
ways. And I think once the weather gets warmer, then you have those the possibilities, right, to go different
Yeah.
places and different and then as the city opens up, because I know you live I live in Kitchener
In
Waterloo,
Peel.
but you
Yeah.
live in Brampton.
Peel.
Peel,
Yes.
Peel region, yeah. So I know Peel region, they're kind of a little bit behind
Mhm.
and they're taking their time. So I'm hopeful, as the weeks go by, you'll be able
Actually,
to
for us, we want to be able to go back to
mhm,
going indoors, especially with the children or the adults that we work with, because they're not able to wear a mask and they're more vulnerable. So going indoors is something that we won't do at all until this
mhm,
entire pandemic is over.
yeah,
It's too risky
mhm,
and there's life at stake, right? So the only place for now is outdoor or in the comfort of their home. And then even my service is limited because
mhm,
with individual, if they have like a senior at home or depending on the house, their home dynamic, we're not able to support them either. So we have family who since March have been caring for their loved one every single day, 24 hours a day, without any support. And this is something that's new for them because they've always had either school or, a respite worker or someone to give them that relief. So just imagine 1 year of no relief,
wow,
and then you have a lot of behavior, you have a lot of anxiety because these children or adult, they don't understand why, right?
mhm,
So we get a lot of calls. So what we do is a lot of behavioral consultant, like whether through Zoom or even like yesterday we went to a location, a home where we just give strategies how to manage because there's new behaviors that's occurring, right?
mhm,
Because
mhm.
of the anxiety and the frustration. So, we just got to do trial and error and just support the parents best we can and give them strategies. And sometimes we even go as far as redesign the house so that the individual or the child or, have a space for their home, for their own, or a space where they could at least vent, right, and
Mhm.
release whatever it is that's going on with them in a safe way. So just trying to do some of those things, but it is hard. It is
Mhm.
hard, on parents,
I
and
can
it is
imagine.
like, I don't know, you don't there's not much we could do, and it's like your hands are tied. Like, how do I
Hmm.
help you in a
Yeah.
safe way, right?
But I'm a parent of two children, and both my kids were home, and I actually sent my son back to school. He's been home for a year, and his first day was this week on Monday. And I cannot truly imagine what it's like for parents who have kids with disability.
Mm,
I have my sister has a daughter, 18-year-old, who has a disability. And I know how the assistance that she gets, but I see how she struggles,
mhm,
So I cannot even imagine what it's been like for parents who have kids, even adult kids who have
mhm,
disability. It must be very, very difficult time for them. And we don't think of things like what you just mentioned, where it's actually better for them to be outside than being inside
mhm,
until
mhm.
this pandemic is over, because they cannot use the mask, the distancing, the social, even understanding the aspect of social distancing and all that. And
Mhm.
safety comes first. So we really, just having that awareness for us to have these conversations and to be able to provide more, you know, more help actually to
Yes.
those parents who really need that, even an hour or two of just of a break.
Mhm.
So thank you for sharing that
You're so
with
welcome.
us. Yeah, Jules, I know you moved, we've known each other for quite some time, and I know you are a local, KW local, and you've moved in the midst of the pandemic. And I said, why? Of all the times, why would you move in the midst of the pandemic? But you did. You have your husband, your two kids, and now you've all settled in and you're doing well. What are the challenges like moving in the midst of the pandemic, buying a house in a different province that over Zoom, I think. Do you mind just sharing that journey with us, please?
When you say it like that, Fadhwa, it sounds crazy. But really, Phil and I are both really heart centered. And during the pandemic, when our business got shut down because we're both massage therapists,
Mhm.
and obviously we were not allowed to be near people, let alone touch people. Uh, and like Nikisha answered her question, I can't leave business and home life separate because it's so much a part of my reality and my passion, that we were without jobs and we were on the CERB for the first month for sure. And I just remember thinking, wow, like this, look at how this is happening. This is really interesting. And I had no doubt that we'd go back to work and everything would return back to, its new normal. But there was a certain point where I started to, wanted to support people as best I could, and was working with people over the phone. Right. So obviously it wasn't registered massage therapy. There were no receipts that I was able to give. But being able to actually support people and actually do the work that I do, imagining that they're there and working on them long distance.
Mm,
And that was the practice time that I needed. I'd been doing that for years, but only with a small number of people. There became a point during the pandemic where I was treating at least 3 people a day over the phone, long distance, and they were getting the same results, if not better results, than they were getting when we were face to face in person. And the realization hit me like, okay, this is big, and this means we could be anywhere.
mhm,
And do we really need to be here? And of course, all of our friends and family are in KW. All of my clients, like I've had a practice in KW for over 16 years, have a year waiting list for new clients. Like it was a thriving business full of people that I just absolutely love working with. And I thought myself crazy for thinking of possibly leaving it. But there came a point where I realized that I would know exactly what that looked like. And I knew that I could grow into the reality that but I would know exactly what that was going to look like. And I needed something like yourselves, right? Adventurers. I needed something to work forwards on. And it's not that I couldn't do it there, but I just felt in my heart that we needed a shift. and I felt like we needed to go. And Phil grew up here in New Brunswick, this place that, you know, you can see in the background if you're seeing it on video, but this space was on sale. We had looked at it for months as a pipe dream, and it was still available. And I was like, wow, like this just doesn't feel right to be here anymore, and it actually feels more right to go. This is really strange. But we made the jump right before, like threading the needle, we called it, right before the kids had to go to school. And it all just fell together so beautifully. The people who bought our house, friends of friends, just how it all played out. Now houses are impossible to find out here because everybody's coming out here. The timing was just so perfect, and I'm able to support my family based on working with people from all over Canada on the phone.
Nice.
So it's been really powerful, and I look forward to meeting more people in this new reality, in this new space. But also, I can connect to people everywhere by being here and by living by the ocean, which is just phenomenal.
Wow.
Beautiful.
That's
You know what?
amazing. Yes. Yes.
I did a post today, and I,
Mhm.
I and I wrote like, have you ever wonder if I only knew what I knew then, my
Mhm.
life would have now my life would have been different. And then I said, then I think I said something like, you are exactly where you need to be,
Mhm.
and everything happened just the way it needed to happen. And
Yes.
that's basically it. This was your journey, and that's why everything just went so smoothly, like just
Mhm.
like it was meant to be. Right, and
Mhm.
you're at peace with it. And that's how we're supposed to live our
It
life.
must have been, because it
Yeah.
happened exactly.
When, and I think sometimes we don't listen to our inner intuition because it's so powerful, and it leads us and it tells us what to do. And I think when we listen to it more, we will just flow, just like how Jules transition, just flow, and it works out. There wasn't no fear. You just knew it felt right. And that's your inner intuition telling you this is it.
And I think that
Right?
part is most important because that is my job. I teach people to listen to their own inner wisdom.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
when mine speaks, I have to listen to mine too, to
Yes.
be a good role model.
Yes. You know what? Even for
Power.
myself, that's what I've done. I remember asking, I've never ever thought about running a business. I even thought that I could have run a business. And when I was going through depression, and I was going through anxiety just from being in an unhealthy workplace. And I just sat there and asked myself, what is it that I need to do? Because I couldn't go back there. And my inner voice told me, you need to start your own business. I've never thought about doing something like that. And I just act upon it. And 30 days later, I quit my full-time job to start my full-time business. And best decision, if I had let fear and anxiety and
Mhm.
everything that comes with making such a leap, I would have still be miserable and unhappy,
Yes. Yes.
And yeah, it's just listening to that inner intuition. When you ask a question and you get the answer, don't ask any more questions, just go with it.
I
And,
can't wait to hear fadhwas.
wow. Well, for me, I would say, just like you say, that inner intuition, right? Jules, we've known each other for some time, and we actually met at Toastmasters Club. And that's where my journey started, right? And at that point, I never knew I'll ever have my own show, even though as a young girl, I always wanted to have my own TV talk show,
Hmm.
right? And then now in the midst of the pandemic, and I'm thinking, okay, through my journey, because I could see that transitioning, I'm shifting, I'm growing, I'm learning. And I started off, Accelerate Your Life 2020, was born. And that was my first baby. And I was like, I'm just going to have something that will just inspire people. And that was my only intention at that time. I have another job that, puts the food on the table, pays the
Hmm.
bills, but then something else, that inner wisdom telling me, guiding me, telling me, just do something with this. And I started using that. I started using the medium of social media to just make an impact and inspire others through the message and sharing stories. And that's how I started. And a year later, what happened? Gems of life came to life. And that's the inner wisdom that we all have, that we all have the gems in our life. And it's the gems in our life that we can look back to. It's like the cookie crumbs, right? That we can go back to and say, wow, I've come from that far, and I'm actually heading this way. But you don't know. Sometimes you don't even know what direction you're heading. I didn't know that I will be talking to both of you today
Yes.
on this show, right? But that's the thing. When you're shifting and you're moving and you're learning, you don't know what's coming your way. But just taking that step and just following that inner wisdom, like you said,
Mhm.
and that trusting that the gems of your life that you have will take you where you need it to be. But just to have that openness of shifting. And I think for me, 2020 and 2021, with all the challenges that came along, for me, I think it was the year that I grew, literally, emotionally, literally just completely changed how I saw myself, perceived how I saw things. And the growth is just phenomenal. And I'm so excited because now I'm on my next stage, right? Not just radio. As Jules, we're part of Toastmasters. Now I'm competing. Who would have known I'm competing in Toastmasters international competition?
I know. And you
you
guys
know,
are amazing. I
so
mean,
but it's
you
just a
guys
part of the
inspired me
growth.
to join.
Yes.
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 And
So I
why not?
joined my local chapter.
Good for you. Good for you.
Mhm.
And we didn't let COVID stop us, right?
Yeah.
We could have we were closed for quite some time. The office, we could not go in and do our, meet all there as a club. But then we started going on Zoom. And this is one of the changes that we all had to adapt. Just doing the recording, okay? Just doing the recording on Zoom, we had to learn. We had to learn all that. A year ago, we didn't know anything about Zoom. I knew a little bit about YouTube, but I had to learn. But now with Zoom, we're learning. And Nikisha, I can see you have a beautiful background there. We have to learn how to use different systems, audio, technology, like all
Yes.
kinds of stuff.
Yes. We had to be
you know,
creative because,
we have to be creative.
our life has
Absolutely.
changed. I do have
Yes.
an office that I never use it. I haven't gone there in over a year because it is what it is.
You gotta make use of what you have.
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
the message here is just there's no excuse. There's
Yes.
no excuse. You can do anything with so little right now.
Yes.
The
Yes.
potential is endless. This is a pre-recorded show that we're doing because the studio is closed, so we have to do it from our comfort of our home. Like, you're in Peel, I'm in KW, and Jules is in New Brunswick. How cool is this?
Yes, yes. And guess what? The pandemic put us together because of the
Absolutely.
pandemic, I start showing up more on LinkedIn, because before I never really exist on LinkedIn.
Yes.
And how I even got on LinkedIn is I put out a post. I was approached by a professor from Umber College and to do a speech, and I did actually to do a workshop. I did the workshop, and while I was doing the workshop, all the students were following me on LinkedIn. I'm like, wait, I need to be on LinkedIn. So that motivated me to start being more active on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
And so just by me being more active on LinkedIn, then you reached out to me, and then I met Joel the first time on the Toastmaster competition, and all this is possible. All this worked out only because we're all home during the pandemic, and we're finding different ways
Mhm.
to create our life, and to evolve it from the comfort of our home, right?
And we're not
So
resistant. We're in the
yeah,
flow.
yes,
Yes.
yes. And just seeing that shift and going with the shift, because change is something I think a lot of us, we resist change and we fight against change. But change is something that it has to happen. It's just like the temperature, it's just like the season. And I don't know why us human, we resist change so much. But when we are submissive to change, we see how it helps us to evolve, and for us to just move with the currency of life. You never know where it's going to take us, because all three of us, we took that chance and we weren't resistant, and we move with that currency, right? Wherever life take us, we're just going with it. And I could say for all three of us, we see where that currency is taking us into that woman, or that we're becoming, and it helping us to give our family that vision, that life that we want for them, right? Just because we're not being so resistant,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Anything you can add on to that, Jules? Especially when it comes to, like Nikisha said, resistance to change. And a lot of us, we tend to have that. That's one of the limited beliefs that we all have. And we resist change. Not only do we fear, but we resist it. The moment we feel there's a change, especially the first half year of the pandemic, there was a lot of fear with what's happening, and a lot of stuff that were happening. A lot of people lost their jobs, so there was a lot of insecurities going on, which was really really hard time. I saw firsthand where I worked, 80% of the staff were let go. It was very very difficult time for a lot of people. And now it's kind of, now a year later, people now know, okay, it wasn't so bad. Yes, we had to go through the change, but now the resistance is not as bad as it was before.
mhm.
What do you think, Jules, in your end?
Well, I think as you said that, there's so much truth to that fear of anything being different, the unfamiliar, the uncertain. And obviously the pandemic like was that like thrown in our face 100%. And we have to remember that even our entire nervous system, it bases itself on being able to have a default, on not having to focus on everything that's happening. It relies on there being structure. It relies on there being known things that are going to happen, and those outcomes being clear and something we can lean into and trust. And so our resistance is natural, because as soon as something new comes up, it means that it can't fall back into its normal default patterns. And that's of course going to be like alarm bells, woo, 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 woo,
Yes.
right? Like we're going to have to spend energy and we're going to have to grow here, and this is not going to be easy. We don't know what's going to happen. We're going to have to create new neural pathways, or we're going to have to right figure out a new way of navigating this, and this is going to be hard. And so having all those happen at the same time is obviously overwhelming. So it all depends again on your mindset, and that mindset muscle, right? If you're not used to it, and I've heard this a lot lately, because we're starting to kind of do like a recap of the whole year, like it's been a year since the pandemic started. And in that, we're recognizing that everybody who made the pivot, everybody who went, holy crap, this sucks, but well, I guess we got to shift. All of those people have now built that resiliency and know how to use that muscle, know how to work that tool, that now it's a practice tool. Now they recognize that if one thing doesn't work, maybe they can try another one. Maybe they never had to try that before. I said the other day to a friend, they said, well, how did your kids do with the move? And I was like, well, that is a long story. But the short side is there was a lot of resistance, especially from my son who was going into high school, which is completely understandable. And I won't say all the things that happened in the meantime, but now that it's been 6 or 7 months, now I can see the amazing resiliency that is in him having to face all of that fear, him having to rebel and push and be scared and be really low, and then to actually like find himself that he can exist in a new space, in completely unknown area, somewhere he's never been before, and he can still thrive. Like that is resiliency at its finest. And even myself in my job, people have said like, how has it been? I was like, it's been a struggle. Like it's been really challenging. And I like my ego has taken a bunch of blows that obviously it needed to take. Right. I feel bruised in like the best ways, because it's made me like find out where I am versus how I self-identified before. But in that, I feel like I found out things about myself that I never would have had to access if I was always comfortable. It's like they say, like we don't grow when we're comfortable. And I was getting so comfortable that I think that inner wisdom in myself was saying, hey, you could be and stay comfortable, there's no growth here, and we know you like to grow. So your choice.
Yes.
Yes, yes.
So true.
I love that. You have to be, in order to, you have to get uncomfortable. To
Yes.
grow, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to not just sacrifice, it's not a matter of sacrifice, but you have to be prepared to open yourself to the possibilities that, yes, it's going to get uncomfortable. Yes, I'm going to get hurt. Maybe I'm going to be facing a lot of hurdles and challenges, but that's just part of growth. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's that mental muscle that you're building on, and it's the mental muscle of resiliency as well. And we grow, through resiliency, we grow. And I think, we are past the year now and we are reflecting, we're in 2021, and we realize how resilient we are.
Oh,
We
yes.
realize that we have within us already, even put COVID aside, look at your personal situations. How many times have you gone past a challenge in your life? How
Mhm.
many times have you gone past a hurdle in your life? It could be a love, a breakup. It could be a relationship. It could be a divorce. It could be losing someone. It could be, raising children. Whatever it is, it could be loss, job loss, right? Financial loss, whatever it is, we have that within us. And it's just, I think we never look at it because we just take it for granted. Things happen and I just, okay, life is, and that's it. This is what life is. And I always hear people say, oh, well, this is life. No, life is what you make out of it.
So
That
true.
we shouldn't surrender to our challenges, right? We should use challenges as part of opportunities for us to grow and evolve.
Yes. So
Yeah.
true.
So I realized that there has been, apart from challenges, there's two questions I would like to know. And for our audience, please, this is a moment for you to get in and just send in your comments as well. So question one will be, Jules and Nikisha, is what has been your biggest aha moments of 2020? Okay. And what do you miss the most? So, to our
Mm.
audience as well, those are the two questions I leave out to you. What has been your biggest aha moment? And what do you miss doing? What is the one thing you cannot wait to do post pandemic?
I think for me, my biggest aha moment is I'm coming from a background where I used to work two jobs and going to school at the same time. My two younger children, one is 12 and one is 8. So I remember like my 12-year-old, I can't even remember him walking or anything during his lifespan because I was always busy. My daughter was the same. And so one of the goals that I've made over the year was to spend more time at home. And slowly but surely every year, I worked on that. And I remember last year, no, not last year, 2019, one of my goals for 2019 was to work less and be at home more. So that
Mhm.
was my goal for 2020. That was the goal that I made for 2020 in 2019. January 2nd, I was in a car accident. So I was home from January to March. And just in March, when I was about to get up and start, go back to that hustle and bustle, the pandemic happened. And then I was home and for the whole year again. So then one day, my aha moment is like, wow, be careful what you ask for, right? Because I asked to be home and spend more time with my family, and I was home. I homeschool. Like I can't believe my kids been homeschooling since March last year. I can't believe that me, Nikisha, get is homeschooler children. That was something that was impossible. like like when I hear about people homeschooling their children, I'm like, are they crazy? How
Mhm.
could they do that? But yet I did it for a whole year and I'm prepared to do it for another year if I have to, right? Just so that was my aha moment where like, wow, be careful what you ask for in life because you might just get it. And I did get that, right? The thing I miss the most is traveling. I love traveling. Every year I usually go away at least twice, minimum twice a year. And last year I had to cancel two vacation. Um, and yeah, so I am missing the airplane. I'm missing waking up, to taking a walk on the beach. I'm just missing just being in the resort and not to think about anything but myself and just eat and just yeah, that's the only thing I'm missing. Like
Yes.
everything else is okay. I just want to go on a vacation.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
that's it.
Wow. Thank you. Jules?
I'm going to start with a thing that I miss the most.
Mm.
And definitely like traveling and being on a beach sounds amazing too. But
Mhm.
that was only after Nikisha said it. So that would just be copying. So ditto. And I think the thing that I miss the most is human contact and
Mm.
touching, being in a crowd of people. Little did I know that that actually feels like a group cuddle from a distance.
Yes.
I love being in large groups of people and shared experiences and music and hugging people and connecting and touching people's arms and holding hands with my friends, like that human contact is so desirable to me, is
Yes.
so I didn't realize, and anybody who knows me would say, yeah, you did, Jules, like you're a toucher. And I'm like, oh, missing out on hugs and seeing people's smiles
Mm.
when I'm out and meeting people. Like we moved to a new town and a new village. Sorry, I'm always corrected. It's a village. Only 230 people live in our village.
Wow.
But like not being able to see them smile when I say hello, I
Mhm.
don't know what half the people look like that I've met here, because I
Yeah.
only see them with their masks on, and that's
Yeah.
that's strange, right?
Yes.
The thing that my biggest aha moments are, now that I do have the opportunity to reinvent myself, I get to decide what I want to do. I don't have to just have a clinic where I work for 1 hour at a time and see people in person. I can work for 3 hours in the morning, and then I can lead a ceremony, a cacao sound bath ceremony in the afternoon, and I could get paid to do speaking gigs, and travel. Like nothing, it has to be the same as I always thought it had to be, probably because that's the way I always saw it, because of the modeling that I had, because that's the way my mom did it and it worked and she was successful. So that's the way that I was going to do it. And now I go, wow, I'm not my mom. Like the way she did it is great for her, but I get to choose. And I really love to do this. And this is where like my passion is working with kids. How do I work with more kids? And right, like how do I build that into hanging out with my kids more? And I can, because I'm not tied to a really expensive mortgage and really expensive clinic rent. Now I have a freedom that I just have to get out of my head the old patterns so that I can step into it. And it's still happening. It's slow progression. People in the Maritimes laugh because anybody who moves here from Ontario, their head's still spinning and they're still moving super fast.
I could just imagine it. It's
Right?
like slow motion. Like, how do
Yes.
you stop going super fast to super slow?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
The
Yeah.
answer is nature. Nature
Yes.
helps.
Yes. Yes.
But I love that
Thank
you
you.
get to go on the beach. That is like that alone, I would do it. Like just being able to walk on the beach every morning,
Mhm.
that is priceless. That is like so like I love water. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
This
love
morning it was -15, Nikisha. How would you feel about that?
No.
I wouldn't be out on the beach for sure. I'm
Well,
complaining about -3, okay?
yeah.
Fadhwa,
Yes.
I want to hear your aha moment, Fadhwa.
Yes.
I know you've probably had tons of them.
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, my biggest aha moment is almost similar to yours, realizing that, oh my goodness, I can do so much.
Mhm.
I thought I was just limited to just doing one thing in my life, you know, and realizing that I can do coaching, which I've started coaching, self
Nice.
healing coaching, healing the pain that we have gone through and getting rid of that, not getting rid of it, but reconnecting to that inner child in you, making peace with yourself, right? So I'm able to do that now with my clients, being able to be in a speaking competition where it's opening up doors for me now to be called in and do speaking engagements. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, I'm not just limited to one area. Having my own talk show, having on social media, doing on radio, and stretching out to TV. That's my next thing. Writing a book, be an author. So I just realized that I was not only just limited, but I limited myself. I limited my potential. And that's why I say 2020 has been a blessing in disguise for me. I was
Yes.
able to be home with my children, right? And that was one of the biggest aha moments is I can be home with my children and also be able to utilize that time for me to learn and grow. Because I believe I have grown within the past year far more than I've ever been. I have stretched so far more than I've ever been. So that has been my biggest moment. My aha moment is I think when we take time and slow down and just put everything outside of ourselves and think of it as I can do more, I can be more, and to have that intention that I'm not driven to for money, I'm not driven for financial gain, rather than to add value to people, to make a change, to make an impact, to inspire others. And that is my passion, you know. So 2020 has my biggest aha moment was finding also my passion. It's something I've been searching for what in my 40s. Looking
Mhm.
now, I'm thinking, wow, but it's all the knowledge and the wisdom and the experiences and the lessons that I have learned that I bring it forward now, because now my voice has value in what I say. It has impact. That is my biggest aha moment. In
Nice.
terms of what I miss, oh my goodness, let me tell you. I'll tell you a quick story because I know we're almost up in time for time. There was a gentleman who was married to his wife. She didn't have any kids with him for many many years. So he'll come home and she'll notice he's happy, he's smiling, and she'll be like, "Why are you happy and smiling?" He's like, "Oh, somebody always makes me. Somebody who has no teeth makes me smile." So she was like, "What?" She's like, "Yeah." So every day he will go, come back, he's happy, he's joyful. And she'll ask him, "Wow, why are you always happy when you come back?" He's like, "Well, I left and somebody who is toothless made me happy and smiling." So this one day, a few days later, he comes back home, he looks at his wife and she smiles and he just nearly faints and drops, right? And he's like, "What did you do?" She says, "Well, you always say every time you go, the person who makes you happy is one who is toothless. So here I am. I broke all my teeth." So she had gotten rid of all her teeth because she wanted to make her husband happy. And she wanted to see the joy in him. And he looked at his wife and says, "Oh my goodness, I actually meant it was a baby who is toothless, toothless, a baby who has no teeth used to make me happy." You know, because he didn't have any children. So that gave him that joy, and now you don't know where that relationship ended, of course,
That's some love, boy.
Yes. But for me, the story behind that is just a simple smile.
Yes.
Simple smile makes a huge, huge difference. And that's what I miss. I miss seeing people smile. I think that it just warms your heart. They say your eyes is the window to the soul. But I
Mhm.
truly believe that, smiling just brightens somebody's day. So
Yeah.
just getting rid of that mask is one of the things, just to get rid of the mask, and I just want to see people's teeth.
I like that you say that because I'm a smiler, and from the Caribbean, we greet people with a smile, right? Like,
Yes,
good
yes.
morning. And sometimes you don't have to say anything, it's just a smile and a nod.
Smile. Yes.
And I recognized that I was doing that with the mask, and I have to remind myself nobody could see my smile, nobody could see me. So now I'm reprogramming myself not to smile because
No,
it's like it feels like a
let me
waste of a
tell you.
smile,
No, no, don't
right?
waste. It's not
Don't do
wasted.
it. Don't do
No,
it,
no, don't waste
Nikisha.
it. Keep smiling
And
because your
you're
eyes,
like
your
nobody's seeing
eyes
my
will show
smile.
you're smiling. Your eyes will show you're smiling, Nikisha. You will know a person if they're
And because
smiling through
yeah,
the
and
eyes.
because I'm outside and I'm walking around and I'm like, because you don't say anything, you just smile with a nod.
Yes,
And
no, keep
that's how
smiling.
you greet. And it's like, but nobody's seeing my smile. Why am I smiling?
No, no, no. Keep smiling. Keep smiling.
So I
Well,
like that you bring that up.
yes, yes. I hope the viewers, our listeners, will like will like the story and share in what your aha moment is, what was your aha moment for 2020, and what you missed the most. So as we are wrapping up, we have about 60 seconds, ladies. Last words. Pressure there.
My last word is to just be courageous. Be
Mhm.
courageous and just go after your dream, go after whatever it is that your heart desire. Now is a time for you to be courageous.
Wonderful. Jules?
I would say, as I would say to all my clients, myself, my kids, listen to what your body is telling you. And not that it's necessarily telling you the truth, but it's telling you something. And if you can be there with curiosity and compassion to just hear it out, you will be in a much better space to build that friendship between this entire vessel that holds all of your memories and stores all of your feelings. And if you can be connected to it, then you'll be in a good place moving forward.
Yes, I
Love
love
it.
that. I love that. Well, for me, I would just say be kind. Be kind to the people around you, to people you see out on the road, in the supermarkets, wherever it may be. And just, I know they won't see that smile, but just keep smiling, because it warms somebody's heart when you do that. Just a nod, I think when you smile, it brings that warmness in your eyes. So, Nikisha, don't stop smiling, okay? And I truly believe, when you smile, it's a lot better for you, because even though
Mhm.
you have the mask, but it's good for your heart,
Yes.
good for your heart and soul, and it's good for your spirit, and it's good to just share that. Keep smiling even if there's nobody there. Just keep smiling. Keep
And
smiling.
be kind to yourself and
Yes.
smile at
Be
yourself
kind.
as
Yes.
well.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. Be
Yes.
kind
Change
to
everything.
yourself.
Yes.
And I
So
think
true. Yes.
absolutely, because I think we're too hard on ourselves, and we are the
Mhm.
biggest. We
Critics.
look at ourselves and we're too hard, and we create this conflict within ourselves when we really don't have to. So 2021, it's we are in the mid, we are in March, and pandemic is still here, right? So let's not use this as an excuse not to pursue what we need to do. Pursue your dreams, pursue your passion, do what you need to do to get you there. If we three of us right here, we're able to do this in the midst of the pandemic, you can too. You can too. And you have no limitations at all. So I really thank you both ladies for joining me on our first
Thank you.
show.
Thanks, Fadhwa. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. We're looking
Thank you.
forward to your comment and just interacting with you.
Yes, yes. Connect with us. We have a link there. Follow us. We have the Gems of Life website. We'll have the link below as well. The gemsoflife.com. That's the website. You can follow us on Facebook, the Gems of Life Show, as well as YouTube channel, the Gems of Life Show on YouTube. So please join us and send in your comments. Share with us what your gems has been for 2020. You never know who you can inspire. And as I always say, aspire to
Inspire.
Inspired. Yay.
wonderful. Thank you.